Good day to you all. Good Tuesday to you all from the Power of Consent team. Today, we're just going to quickly give you a brief video, some game on how you can defend or challenge council tax. We always say over here, Power of Consent, never ever refuse in paying bills or debts. Don't ever refuse. And I just want to preface this by saying that we are not giving legal advice. Please go and seek legal advice, professional legal advice. You can go to Beat the Bailiffs, how to deal with debts, the Citizens Advice Bureau. We are not giving legal advice. This is simply for educational purposes only. Now, here's this great book called Council Tax Handbook, written by Alan MURDIE and Paul Moorhouse, the 13th edition. Now, regarding council tax, there's a thing called liability orders. Liability orders. Now, liability orders, let's just check it out. What does the book say about liability orders? Let's go into it straight away. This is chapter 10, enforcement, 3, liability orders, England and Wales. All right, check this out. The court can make liability order for one person for one amount. It can also make one liability order for more than one person and more than one amount in the form of a schedule. We break down the word person according to Black's Law's dictionary. There's a different meaning, and it means legal fiction, legal entity, your straw man. Okay, certified copy of entry, birth certificate. Note, the Form A, originally provided to draw up liability orders, was removed from law from 10 July 2003 in Wales and 1st October 2003. Removed in England, and no form has been substituted in its place. Without any written record of its order or judgment being issued by the court, an order from magistrate court may be invalid. This point, and the tricky language that maybe it's invalid, this point has been raised in proceedings at various magistrates, meaning it was raised by different people that went to the courts. Since August 2015, yeah, and has yet to be resolved. The failure by Parliament to create the necessary form is a serious flaw in the legislation, which potentially compromises the making of all orders and enforcement activity. It is clear that the Parliament envisages magistrates making a physical liability order as the basis for taking of any further enforcement action. Listen, they're invalid. And the magistrate is comprised of 3 people who have no law degree. No disrespect. They have no law degree. They are volunteers from the community. You can go and Google magistrates, how to become a magistrate. You don't need a law degree. You don't need to go to law school. So it's invalid. Now, if that's the case, do bailiffs need a liability order? Yes. Bailiffs, also known as enforcement agents, need a liability order to enforce council tax debts. Are you listening? Are you seeing what I'm seeing here? A liability order is a court order issued by the magistrate court, authorizing the local council to pursue legal action to recover unpaid council tax. But it's invalid since 2003 October for England, July for Wales. It's invalid. So the bailiffs cannot come and seize goods because liability orders have been invalid since 2003. Very important. So what's the next stage to do? You want to do what is called a freedom of information request. Allows anyone to ask for information held by public sector organizations in the UK. The public sector is your local government, your councils. They all have what is called a public oath of office, which means they swear to uphold the law, the common law. So what you want to do, ladies and gentlemen, is write in asking for information held regarding liability orders. You've got to be proactive. Don't wait for them to come knocking on your door. By the way, you don't have to let them in, just like the movie Sinners. Don't let them in. Don't give your name. They have no authority or power over you other than what we give to them. Just don't open the door, ladies and gentlemen, and just note it as harassment. So what you want to do is do a freedom of information request to the local government, the local council, not refusing to pay, saying, listen, more than happy to pay, but can you please provide and furnish the liability order? They won't be able to do that. Now, who do you request that from? Who do you name? Because you've got to name a liable man or woman. Stop saying dear Lucian, dear Lambeth, dear Haringey, or dear Barnett, whatever. No, that's a corporation. You've got to write to a man or woman. Now, ideally, you want to write to what is called a chief financial officer. Every single council, every single local government has a chief financial officer, is a senior executive in a company. See, don't make them lie to you and tell you that they're not companies. Company responsible for overseeing all financial matters. Every single council has a CFO. You want to find out their name, you can go on Companies House and do that. Simply Google Companies House and go in there and you will find out their name. And if you don't have the name, you can do a freedom of information request on the name of who's responsible. So you want to write to them and ask them for your liability order. The actual head of the data, it's called DPA, the Data Protection, or for your Data Protection Officer, excuse me, DPO, Data Protection Officer. You want to write to that man or woman, and you also want to forward it over to the CFO and even the CEO. Do not tell them that liability orders are invalid. You ask them for a copy of it. And I'm telling you, anything they give to you is a fraudulent instrument because it was removed from law since 2003, right? The bailiffs have no power because they need the liability order because it's been removed. So you just simply do a freedom of information request to the CFO. There it is. More power to you. This is the power of consent. Please follow, like, and subscribe, and share this video because a lot of people are suffering because they just don't have the knowledge. This is the power of consent team. This is not legal advice. Please take this advice and use it if you want to. Don't refuse to pay. But if you want professional advice, legal advice, please go to different organizations like Stop Poverty UK, Beat the Bailiffs, Citizen Advice Bureau. We do not give, this is not legal advice we give here. This is just purely for educational purposes. So please follow, like, and subscribe and share this video to your loved ones. Yeah, let's stand in power. Peace.